Well, good morning, world. This is my hi, happy Monday. My dad, when I was growing up, and it was like a source of anxiety for my entire family, my mom, my sister, me. But my dad would wake up and he would walk out on the balcony every morning. We grew up in Granite Bay, and he'd walk out on the two-story balcony every morning. He'd look out the neighborhood, and he would just scream out, "Good morning, world!" Every once in a while, you hear neighbors scream back, "Shut up!" Like you see those movies when people are yelling out their windows in New York. That was my dad. Only it was like everywhere we went. We were at I remember we were at Disneyland one time, I think when I was like 4 years old, and he loved opera music, right? Pavarotti was his absolute favorite. I don't think Pavarotti was really spitting out jams when I was 3. Maybe he was. I don't know. I don't know Pavarotti's history. My dad does. But anyway, he would play. He loved opera music, and he loved bagpipe music. My dad was actually a drummer in a bagpipe band when he was much younger. So I remember at Disneyland when they would let you. I don't know if they still do, but we had an RV. We were staying in the Disneyland RV park, and my dad at like 7 in the morning cranks up this bagpipe music. I mean, really loud, really, really, really loud. And good morning, Rachel, and good morning, Rebecca. And I remember looking out the window of the RV, and people are like walking to the on-site bathrooms with their hands over their ears, like, what is happening here? We were those people. Anyway, I had to look at my dad, and I was like, Dad, that's not my jam. I'm sorry about that. That'll be the last one of those jokes I make today. We're still friends, right? All right. Let's get this money started. What we have going on? We got the fast money keyword, which is in effect right now. If you want to hop over to the FM side of things on the radio, you can grab the fast money keyword and the number that you can text it to, and that'll get you qualified for $100 and qualified for that $25,000. You'll have a chance to win $100 and qualified for the 25 grand. So the national fast money keyword again is on the FM side between now and 9 o'clock, and then there'll be a whole other word at 9 o'clock. And every hour today up until 5 o'clock, you'll get another word every hour where you can win $100 and qualify for the 25K. Also in the news today is the day after Easter. And so this is always just the day where you kind of check in with people and make sure that they got all the eggs that the Easter bunny hid, right? How does that work? Is it the Easter bunny leaves the eggs and then moms and dads hide the Easter eggs, or the Easter bunny also hides the eggs? My relationship with the Easter bunny is complicated. Anyway, I'm just curious. And did you get all the eggs? Because I don't know if it was the Easter bunny or my mom that hid the eggs when I was younger, but we had this really cool big piano, right? One of the tall ones like that you see in the saloons in the 1800s. You know, Anyway, apparently my dad or mom and dad were gifted that the Easter bunny does everything. Okay. I was pretty sure because I knew I didn't hide the eggs, but that's because my kids were up with my mom this year for Easter, and also I'm Jewish. But last year I couldn't remember if I hid the eggs or if the Easter bunny hid the eggs. I think it was a team effort because teamwork makes the dream work. Anyway, where were we? So anyway, we had this old piano, and my mom and dad were gifted it. It was an antique piano out of an old, I don't want to say the word. It starts with a W, it has an H in there and ends in or. Anyway, one of those houses in the 1800s. So it was gifted to us at our house. I'm assuming it was cleaned. God, please let it have been cleaned. Anyway, it was put in this room that barely ever got used in our home. I don't know if you saw my Facebook page. I grew up in a really big house. Like my parents had a really big house. I do not. And we had this back room that had the piano. And so they put it behind, the Easter bunny put it behind the piano. And then me, who was an Easter egg shark, got all the Easter eggs except that one. And apparently the Easter egg did not leave an inventory as to how many eggs were hidden. And so I think it was like probably 2 or 3 years later, and we found the egg. I found the egg. It never stunk, by the way. Everybody says that rotten eggs, it must be eggs that aren't hard-boiled, because this was a hard-boiled egg. It didn't stink, but it had little protons or proteins growing out of it. Like you see the coronavirus cell or whatever it is on TV whenever they show it. They had things growing off of it like that. It wasn't red, though. It was like yellow. It was so gross. Anyway, if you're wondering what happens to a hard-boiled egg after it's been hidden by the Easter bunny and then not found until 3 years later by, I think I was probably 13 or 14 when I found it, that's what happens to it. It looks like the coronavirus molecule or cell. So anyway, real quick, we had a weekend at the box office. Godzilla vs. Kong, $32 million. Do you remember 6 months ago when places were trying to open up movie theaters and blockbusters were coming out? They're like, hey, opening week, this new Tom Cruise movie made $783,000. Well, now we're back to $32 million. Kong made some money, and it needed to make some money. It was a really good movie. It looked like it probably cost a lot of money to make, too. If you didn't get a chance to check out Kong this weekend on the big screen, Series Cruisin' has Godzilla vs. Kong. HBO Max has Godzilla vs. Kong, although I would highly recommend going out to the Series Cruisin'. I saw pictures of kids out there this weekend. It looked like a blast, and the weather's getting nice now, so it's getting to that point where we can be outside at night and not have to like look around, panic. Do I have a sweater or sweatshirt with me? Because this might get uncomfortable. So anyway, Godzilla vs. Kong, $32 million. Nobody made $3 million. Nobody's the one I've been looking at. I saw Godzilla vs. Kong, by the way, with my kid. I'll talk about it in a second. But nobody has Bob Odenkirk. Bob Odenkirk did Better Call Saul. Bob Odenkirk had a real small bit part in Arrested Development like 20 years ago. I love that TV show. He was a therapist who also was an actor. Anyway, and of course, Bob Odenkirk was in Breaking Bad. He's if you're not too familiar with Bob Odenkirk outside of those, he's like this offbeat comedian, basically. He does a lot of stuff with David Cross, does a lot of stuff on the Cartoon Network, stuff like that. Very creative guy, but he's got a really good serious side, and it looks like in Nobody he also has an action side. And if you followed him enough, you know that this is not a stretch for him. This is actually really in his range. He's known as Better Call Saul, so it's really weird seeing Better Call Saul in a movie where he's kind of a bad egg. So I would say after Godzilla vs. Kong, because Godzilla vs. Kong, by the way, required viewing. We watched it this weekend on the big screen. It was outstanding, and they paid tribute and brought up all of the Godzillas previously, including Mechagodzilla. And I don't want to spoil it. And my kid is super into Godzilla. So as these Godzillas were popping up, he's getting really excited. They're like, oh my God, that's Godzilla from this and that's Godzilla from that. And I'm like, dude, you're 10. How do you know all this stuff? But anyway, Godzilla vs. Kong was a really, really fun watch. If you get a chance to check that out, I would check out Godzilla vs. Kong. And if you get a chance to check it out at the Series Cruisin', I would do that. And speaking of the Series Cruisin', we have tickets for you to go to the Series Cruisin' this weekend. Details on that in a minute. Last thing I want to touch on. It turns out Tinder, because remember, we always called Tinder the hookup app, right? Like Tinder was just for hooking up. Tinder was like, hey, there's somebody across the street right now who's also single, who's also looking to hook up. They have a pulse. That'll work. That's what Tinder used to be. Turns out that Tinder now, for people that are a little bit younger than me, is actually turning into quite a romantic mecca. College-age students and college-aged humans are actually finding legitimate love on Tinder. It turns out that the people that are turning it into a hookup app, the people that are giving Tinder a bad name, the people that are saying, Tinder, you only go there if you're looking for people with friends with benefits. It turns out the people that are turning it into that is all of us. We're the problem, not the millennials, not the college students or the Gen Zers or the Zoomers, rather. Sorry about that. So if you're looking for love, if you're looking for legitimate love, it turns out, and who would have thunk it, Tinder's the place to be. All right, here's what we got going on. Godzilla vs. Kong. We have those tickets for the Series Cruisin'. We're going to start giving those out, I believe, tomorrow. Madden will be back tomorrow. We also have your $25,000 Fast Money keyword. I know we've talked about it before. We're going to talk about it again. We've got a Fast Money keyword that's going into effect right now on the FM side of things on the radio. Between now and 9 o'clock will be one word, and starting at 9 o'clock will be another word, 10 o'clock another, and so on and so on. You get the pattern. So hop on back over to the radio side of things. Get that Fast Money keyword. Text it to 95819. I can't tell you here. I can only tell you on the radio. And you have a chance to win $100 and qualify for that $25,000. And we will see you tomorrow.